ordinary child, you know. Parents were good people. I went to school. I always felt different from the rest of the kids at school, and I didn't sort of feel like I fitted in well. And when we lived on a farm, that wasn't a problem because I basically went home to the animals and fit in really well with them, but I didn't fit in that well with the kids. So I just sort of felt different, and I didn't like where I lived, and I didn't like a lot of things. I was a pretty unhappy sort of kid, but not because my parents abused me or anything else, other than just that was how I was as a kid.
After your childhood, what was your adolescence like?
I was, like I said, I wasn't a real happy kid, and I didn't like where I was, what I was doing. I didn't like being ordinary, so I started drinking when I was about 12. I'd go to the pubs, you know, at the back and drink. I started smoking, of course, which all the things you weren't supposed to do. And I wanted to do the things that you weren't supposed to do because I didn't like doing the things that everyone else did. And but on the other hand, I was also good at school. Like I could pass exams without any effort. So I'd be in trouble all year, and then exams would come. I'd do a couple of days study, and I'd come first, second, or third. So that sort of got a lot of sins forgiven by the teachers, and so you know, I sort of was usually in trouble and buggerised around, but pain in the ass kid. I played sport, you know, lived in the country. We played rugby league on Saturday. No, Aussie rules on Saturday, rugby league on Sunday. We played tennis, cricket, all these other sports because there's nothing else to do. And I didn't understand probably that you got to make some thought about the decisions you make in your life. Like I started drinking when I was young because I was bored and it seemed like something interesting to do. And you know, while I went through school, 2 other kids in a small town got killed drink driving. You know, we never set out leaving home to go and get, we always set out leaving home to get shit-faced, but we weren't going to kill anyone or hurt anyone, but that's what happened. And we never sort of took into account to realise there's consequences, you know, you gotta actually learn young to think about some of the consequences.
What was your best memory of high school?
Best memory of high school? Probably one that I shouldn't be sharing with you, buddies, but by the time I was in year 12, I was the school captain. And why was I the school captain? Because I wasn't there the day they elected the school captain, and they all elected me in the absence. Because no one wanted, you know, we went on an excursion to Sydney, and basically to another school at Ryde, and it was just one long party. And yeah, we had a pretty wild time, and that was sort of indicative that some of the friends, they used to like partying around, and they used to know when enough was enough, and I never knew when enough was enough. And I don't know if you've seen kids that you know, but you can see kids that are different. And you sort of, people tried to tell me and say to me, you know, you need to ease up and steady up, and my basic answer was, you know, what would you know? And that's the sort of kids that I've often tried to sort of get to say, listen, you've got to learn that there's consequences.
How old were you when you first started experimenting with drugs and alcohol?
Well, I was about 12 and a half I started drinking, and probably 12 when I started smoking. We didn't have many drugs in the small country town, so I was only about 17 before I started smoking pot. And then from there it progressed pretty quickly. And that's, people used to have a lot of, you know, education, reefer madness, and all these really stupid bloody movies to try and scare people not to smoke dope, and they were counterproductive. They sort of meant, well, basically we'd do it more often, you know, like it sounded more interesting because they were stupid. But what they didn't sort of say was that, and they sort of said, you know, smoking marijuana will lead to hard drugs. Well, yeah, I haven't met many junkies that never smoked dope first, but I met plenty of people that did actually smoke dope and never ended up junkies. But just that you need to be aware that one can lead to the other because of the hurt people you mix with. You know, and you know, you guys should know yourself. There's certain guys you can mix with if you want to get into shit, and there's certain guys you don't want to mix with if you don't want to get into it. And the same sort of deal that I started smoking dope a lot, and then, you know, got into a crowd, and then there were other things, and I really didn't care, so, you know, as other things came along, well, hey, why not?
What do you think influences teens the most to use drugs and alcohol?
Interesting question. That's a better question. For myself, boredom. I was bored. I lived in a boring place, and I thought most of the people were boring. And I wanted to have some fun, have some excitement. And as I got older, probably I can look back now and learn, I didn't realise then, I didn't feel very comfortable being me. And, you know, so an easy way of getting out of being me was get stoned. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more you do it, the further away you get from being you. And what I had to learn was if I'm not comfortable being me, I actually need to do something about me, not take stuff to make me feel different. I need to learn to be different, you know, and sort of, I was a little kid and I wanted to toughen up, so at least I learned that one. I moved from the country to Redfern, and I got into a gym with some good boxers and learned to fight and learned to look after myself and get tougher. So I actually knew it that way. I just didn't know to do that with the rest of my life. But, you know, if shit doesn't work real well for me, I need to do something about me, not look for something else to give me the answer. And I guess that's the message I've tried to give to my kids and my grandkids and others. Don't look for something else to make you feel whole. If you don't feel whole, do something about it. Learn some skills, learn some things. Work out what it is. What it was is I was never comfortable being me. I just didn't like being me. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be bigger and blah, blah, blah. And what I had to learn was just to accept who the hell I am and make the best of that.
Can you explain what a gateway drug is, and could you explain how it might affect teens?
Yeah, different terms, but I figure marijuana is pretty much a gateway drug because that started me in the drug scene. You know, alcohol for other people, because I've got some friends that became alcoholics. They didn't actually get into drugs real bad. They just became alcoholics and went on their life with a nice legal drug. But smoking dope did because it exposed me to acid and to speed and other things. And eventually it led down the line where I ended up on heroin. And that, you know, you really want to trash your life, that's how to really trash your life quickly. But I've seen people trash their life slowly on alcohol, just as destructive, just as legal, it tastes longer. Heroin will do it nice and fast for you. And ice these days, you know, like people talk to me about all these different drugs and it's different today. Bullshit, it's just new drug, same crap. You know, that hard drugs will just trash your life, you know, and you're just collateral damage in the process. And a lot of kids, won't happen to me. Okay, I can line you up with a dozen people on the drop of a hat to tell you they're all smart people and they thought it wouldn't happen to them either. And you can read about them in the paper and see them. And I was thinking about the other. Did you guys, you know, Mitchell Pearces? Yeah. Did you see him on TV last night? No. You know, he got suspended at East at the start of the year for abusing alcohol and abusing himself and being a dickhead. And he's been sober since. And coincidentally, Eastern Suburbs form has improved as he's come back to form and they're playing good football and he's going good, and he was talking last night on TV about being sober in a different life. And what they said to me is that it's really hard to explain to someone maybe your age that it looks exciting going out and get pissed and you know who and having a wild time. And I can see last night he's actually having fun now, differently. He's not going out and getting pissed and carrying on like an idiot and ruining his life. But he's having fun, he's playing good football, he's sort of started to get his life a bit in order. And I've always been amazed because I've seen people, I can give you, you can probably think of the example, another footballer who plays in England now because he got drummed out of here for too many bad behaviours on alcohol, but he didn't have an alcohol problem. Well, mate, you got some sort of problem, and it looks like every time you're in front of the cameras and the police, alcohol's got a lot to do with it. So, you know, you might be able to recognise you've got a problem, but everyone else can.
Becoming dependent on drugs
Yeah.
and alcohol.
Oh, hard to tell. I always sort of prided myself I could give up any time I wanted, so I didn't think I was dependent, but I was ruining my life. So, you know, it's a definitional term. Once I started using heroin, after about a week, you're addicted to heroin, so it's pretty quick. But because, you know, like I said, I used to be a fighter and play football, and I could do all the other things, so I could always give up for a little while, do what I needed to do. Like before a fight, I'd usually stop, knock off most stuff a week before the fight, you know, because I'd be still training, but then I'd get really fit. And then go to the fight, and then the night after, when you finish the fight, you'd be out on the grog, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning you'd be out on other things, and you wouldn't get home till the early open. You know, so, but on heroin it was pretty easy to define, you know, after a week I'd have it.
Do you think it could have something to do with child or adolescence?
What happened to me? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically I was unhappy inside myself, and I was just looking for something else to make me happy. And because I never realised I had to make myself happy. You know, I used to worry what people thought a lot too much, and you know, a saying a guy taught me years ago that's important, I guess. I needed to learn the difference between reputation and character. And the difference between reputation and character is, reputation is what other people think about you. Character is what your belief system, what your higher power knows about you. You know, and I used to be, you know, want to be tough, and I used to hang around in a fairly tough crowd, and we did a whole lot of things. You know, we rode motorbikes and did a lot of stuff. So I wanted to be tough and act tough and look tough and blah, blah, blah. But didn't have inside me all the things that actually make up being tough, which is making good decisions. And they aren't necessarily popular ones. Yes.
What factors supported your recovery?
People, like I went to Salvation Army rehab, and so they had medical facilities because I was sick. You know, I used to fight as a lightweight, which was about, in the old scale, 9 stone, 4 pounds. I went to rehab, I was 8 stone. So that's 7 or 8 kilos at least lighter than when I was fully fit fighting. So I was not healthy. I needed a hospital, I needed medical help. They did that. They also then had a farm that you could go to get well, you know, and I went there and worked there for a few months. You got 3 meals a day, you worked on a farm, I worked with cattle, and they did some rehabilitation sort of services. They did some program stuff based on the AA program, but basically to teach you the things I'm talking about, making better decisions, learning what's wrong with inside yourself and doing something to sort it out, learning that you're the only person that can make you happy, and things like that, those sort of essential lessons. And, you know, like, I couldn't count the people that helped me over the years, because I had to learn a lot of stuff, you know, I didn't know the answers. And I didn't want the pat answers, I always wanted a better answer, and someone said, well, if you want a better answer, you better look a bit harder.
What is out there that could help educate teens about alcohol and drug addiction?
Good question. There's a number of programs that sort of departments and health thing and try and run. I've never sort of plugged in on much because this hasn't been what I've done. I got out of addiction and I worked in the government for a lot of years. And you know what I did with my kids and grandkids and some of their friends is tried to sort of talk to them about, you know, there are consequences for every decision. How about you learn to make better decisions? You know, like, you know, one of my sons ended up in a fight in the nightclub and was charged with assault, and we sorted all that out in the courts, and then I went through with him about his decision-making process, who he was with, what he was doing, and blah, blah, blah. So he might learn a lesson, which thankfully he didn't repeat it. You know, but I've seen people repeat that same lesson over and over again because they don't get it.
What advice would you give teens today?
get informed, you know, work out what the hell you're doing and what the consequences are and what's involved. Like, you know, I always looked at smoke and dope. It's pretty simple. It's not, it's no trouble. It won't hurt me. And it took me a lot of years to learn. Well, yeah, it's illegal, so it's going to cause me problems. It's going to mean that I've got to mix with people that I probably don't want to mix with, and it actually does have some side effects. And you know, one of the things that sort of we worked out when we were smoking dope is that there's a small percentage of the population that have a predisposition to mental illness. Okay, you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But they might normally live their life quite well and never be troubled by it. But smoking dope can trigger that. And none of us realised that at the time. And neither did they, but some of them I saw that suffered the effects of it, paid a very big price for not being well informed and knowing that that could happen to them. Because they had, you know, when you look at them, they had history of mental illness in their family. And they started smoking dope and it really affected them badly. So, you know, get informed about what people are saying. This is wonderful, it's the answer to your life and it's no problems, and find out if it's real or not. I mean, and how do you can look up the internet for crying out loud, you know, you can Google it and just see what the pros and the cons are. You know, and so don't be dumb. It's not, you know, we were dumb kids, we didn't know laugh and blah. But you don't have to be that dumb these days, you guys can inform yourself.
What are the dangers of drugs and alcohol?
What are the dangers? Well, I went to rehab in 1975. I'm the last one alive from my class.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm 62 years old. So, you know, they're all dead. One of the guys I knew back then was quite a famous person, and he died last year in a big state funeral, but he'd been dead for 10 years. He'd been on methadone, his brain was fried. And he was breathing for the last 10 years, but he wasn't alive. You know, and I sort of felt really sad for that. The dangers, you will trash your life. No risk. You may lose your life. There's a reasonable risk. And a whole lot of dog do will fall on your head, you know, like jails, beatings, you know, like some of the alcoholics that I've seen over the years, they've lost everything. They've lived long enough to lose everything in life, including their family and their kids. I don't know if you know any or you know of any, but you know, the cost is immeasurable. The longer you go, the more it'll cost you. You know, one of the old things that AA used to say about alcohol is a great remover. It'll remove everything from your life. And usually it'll remove everything good.
What motto do you live your life by?
What motto? Geez, I don't know. I don't think about that too much. I've got a whole lot of things that people have taught me how to live a life. And I guess one of the important ones is I am responsible. So if there's something not working and not good in my life, I am responsible, not you. It's not what you said to me or whatever. I'm responsible for how I feel, what I do. I need to take responsibility and make good decisions and make better decisions. So maybe a combination of I'm responsible and make better decisions.
What prevention strategies would you suggest for teens that could potentially experiment with drugs and alcohol?
I don't know that I've got a whole lot of answers for you because other than educating people, you know, educating so that they understand the pros and the cons and the costs. The trouble I saw for most people, my friends when we all started, we had a small understanding of the fun and no understanding of the cost. Nothing's for free. So I guess educate kids that there is a cost and you know that you'll have to pay it. So you need to work out. One of the things that got me clean was a guy promised me, he said, you can have anything you want in life if you're willing to pay the price. I had the first half. Took me a while to work out the second half was most important. And I guess if you're educated and you know the price, then maybe you'll make better decisions. Because, you know, like, there's a lot of things I wanted in life, and when I looked at them, I thought, you know what? They're not worth the price.
Is there any further information you'd like to give us about drugs and alcohol?
No, but I don't know, no. Basically, it's your life. It's in your hands, you're responsible. So get yourself educated and make some good decisions, look after yourself. You know, make the most of your life, don't pour it down the drain.
Oh, that's all questions.